You probably clicked on this video because you want to be a better mercenary and shit. And like, I'll show you how, but I gotta tell you some things about my run first. First off, I'm running on Monsoon. I have the expansion pack on right now, and I'm running Artifact of Command. So you might not have accessed everything that I do, or you might not be willing to run the artifacts. And for my loadout, I'm going to be using Rising Thunder, Blinding Assault, and Eviscerate. So the first part of this run is mainly going to be using lunar items. If you're not comfortable with using lunar items, then I'd recommend skipping to the second run that I'm going to be doing. So like I said, the first run's going to mainly be revolving around lunar items and everything. So I'd say Gestures of the Drowned. Little side note here, you're going to need 4 Gestures of the Drowned to keep 100% uptime. Either that or 1 Gesture of the Drowned and 3 fuse cells. It doesn't really matter as long as you have at least 4. Your equipment's going to be Spinal Tonic, and then you're going to be complemented with Purity, because Mercenary is a very ability-based character, so you are going to need those abilities really fast, especially with Eviscerate, because if you get the attack speed up, you can dominate your enemies. I like to call this one in particular like the Hopeless Drunk, because you're unlucky, you resort to alcoholism to be better at what you're doing. It's just all around fun. So you're also going to want to complement this sort of run with a lot of attack speed, either via items that give you attack speed via your equipment, or just your syringes, coffee, which comes with the DLC. Just anything that makes you attack faster with Eviscerate just destroys. Oh yeah, and in case you don't play Mercenary that much, like Focus Crystals are like your go-to for more damage. That complements with the attack speed because you do damage faster and you also do more damage. So, you know. So the rest of this first part is just going to be me showing off, like, killing bosses and stuff. And if you wanted to see the loadout I have later in the game, just so you can mimic it. I mean, a lot of the game's fun comes from experimenting, so keep that in mind. You don't have to copy me word for word unless you're really struggling. Try to have fun with it, experiment. Either way, just skip to the second part if you want to see it without lunar items. And in case you wanted to see, these are the stats at the end of the game. The second run is going to be mainly the same as the first, except I'm not touching a single lunar item. Keep that in mind, because you can always complement your run with lunar items. So early game, you're probably going to want to start out with your Focus Crystals and Lens Maker Glasses. The Focus Crystals, you can have as many as you want. The Lens Maker Glasses, the most you need is 10. So in this run, I got lucky kind of early and got a legendary pretty fast. I went with the Alien Head for ability cooldown. Mercenary also works well with the Hammer or the Scorpion for armor reduction. I smacked this thing so fucking hard that it took fall damage, by the way. So since I can't really use Purity for this run, I'm going to focus on Bandoliers to help reset my cooldowns. Will of the Wisps are generally good for any character just because of their crowd control ability. With the DLC, there is a new equipment that you can use to get yellow items pretty easily. I will be taking advantage of this, but if you don't have the DLC, then you'll just have to rely on luck. The reason why you'd even want a yellow to begin with is for the Shatter Spleen for its guaranteed bleed damage of crit. The Chrono Bubble's okay on its own. but it's mainly for another item that we'll be getting later. Do not underestimate your healing items, by the way. They will save you in a pinch. As I said for the first part, attack speed is very important for Eviscerate. However, since you won't be spamming it like I did in the Lunar Run, it's not going to be as important as it would be there. The Death Mark is an item that you're always going to want to build around with characters that don't one-shot things. For legendaries, at this point, anything that applies a debuff or just reduces your cooldown will be really good. If not, then just experiment with them and see what you like. I know most of you probably already know this, but just in case you didn't, you can skip right past the pillars and climb up to Mithrix if you have enough mobility to do so. One thing about this run compared to the last run is that Mithrix definitely seemed a lot beefier. I don't know if it was the time scaling or if I was just undercooked for him, but he was a lot harder for me here than he was in the Lunar Run. I also kind of got my ass smacked a couple times by him. And to wrap up here, this is my damage for the non-lunar run. Comparing it to the run where I did have lunar items though, I did more damage, which I was kind of surprised about. Mainly because I felt stronger with the lunar items than I did without them. So, I don't know. But I generally like lunar runs better than non-lunar runs, so. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day and everything. Well, don't let me tell you what to do, but just enjoy yourself or don't. I don't care. Whatever.